Hi and welcome to Whisky Shared. You're watching my review of Wolfburn Latitude. I'm Toby and you're watching Whisky Shared. Welcome to my review of Wolfburn Latitude. This is a non-age statement single malt Scotch whisky and it comes from the Highlands. The distillery itself is based in Thurso, which is the most northerly town in mainland Scotland, and this particular whisky is aged in ex-bourbon casks and is made from a lightly peated malt whisky. This particular whisky retails for £60 in the UK and was originally travel retail, but I got this as part of my Somerton subscription, which is £50 every 2 months. This particular whisky is no longer available other than from selected retailers that still might have it, including the Somerton Whisky Club. Should we find out what it tastes like? On to the whisky. So before I start nosing and tasting, let's have a quick look at the colour. I'd say that is like a white wine. It is natural colour and it is non-chill filtered. Let's start with the nose. Right, so the first thing I get with this is like a peach syrup. There's a nice sweetness to it. I'm getting some honeysuckle. Some icing sugar. I'm getting sweet green apples. There's a hint of perfume in there as well. There's also like a touch of marshmallow. I'm getting some white wine. And there's also some charred oak in there as well. Let's move on to the palate. Yeah, so for the 46% ABV, I'd say it's a little deceptive. It's not overly hot or punchy to start with. I get like granulated white sugar to start, and it's sweet and soft. There's some charred oak in there as well, but then as soon as it sort of evaporates from the palate, you get like a touch of wood smoke that's sort of lingering in the background. It's not overly strong, it's not overly punchy, but it's there, it's noticeable, but it's quite soft at this stage. Let's have another sip. Yeah, so I'm starting to get green apples now. It's reminding me of sort of apple pie. I'm getting some cinnamon, and there is also a slight bitterness as it lingers on the palate a little bit. I think that wood smoke note is now turning into a slightly bitter wood note, but it's not necessarily off-putting, but it is noticeable at this stage. Let's have one final sip. Yeah, there is a little bit of heat now. I'm getting like a white pepper note, and there is like a fizziness on the palate, which is quite noticeable. It really is quite nice. It adds like a freshness, and obviously this whiskey is potentially under 10 years old, but that fizziness is quite pleasant. In terms of finish, I'd say it's medium length. It does sit on the palate for some time, but there is some vanilla, that sort of icing sugar note. There is a nuttiness, but there is quite a discernible dry wood note that lingers with that as well. In terms of value, well, I got this as part of the Somerton Whisky Club subscription that I pay for. It's £50 every 2 months. And for that £50, I think this bottle is good value. Obviously, this retails for around the £60 mark. It was originally a travel retail exclusive, and as far as I'm aware, Somerton Club may have bought the rest of them that were left to, you know, supply this specifically to the club. It does have a Somerton Whisky Club branded box. It does have that branding, and the only place I'm aware of that you can buy it, when I looked online just recently, was the Somerton Whisky Club. So even as a non-member, although I do recommend becoming a member, it's definitely worth the subscription. As a non-member, you can go and buy that if you are so interested. If you are interested for whatever reason, I will put a link in the description, and I'll put a link to the distillery as well, so you can check them out. And yeah, I definitely think this is a good bottle from the Wolfburn distillery. I've had a couple from them, and I've tried several others, and although I would say most of theirs aren't sort of wow bottles, I don't think they're necessarily priced too heavily, and they are all fairly tasty whiskies, so I don't think you can go wrong with a bottle from Wolfburn. If you've tried any particular Wolfburns and you want to share your thoughts, let me know in the comments below. And if you tried this particular bottle, also let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear what you thought of it as well. Hopefully you found that interesting, and hopefully you'll come back again soon. Stauncher.
I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, why not give it a like or a comment, and please consider subscribing for more videos like this.